Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary for Friday, September the 21st. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, and I'm a founding member of the GLCPC, the good-looking Canucks Positivity Club. Was that last night's game a very entertaining 4-3 win for the Vancouver Canucks over the visiting LA Kings? I brought my son Sean to the game. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I was very in a good mood. We were both in a good mood because Sean got his driver's license early in the morning yesterday, but I am the one who drove to the game. Still a little early for him to be driving downtown fighting horrible Vancouver traffic, downtown traffic in the rain. So yes, I drove. We got to the game safely, got home safely, very important. And the game itself was very entertaining, especially for a preseason game. The last preseason game in Rogers Arena, Canucks will go off for 4 more games along the West Coast before they start off the season in October. And I like last night's roster because basically 70 to 75% of those guys that we saw yesterday are guys that will be playing on opening night, as opposed to Wednesday night where the Canucks dressed a very young lineup. So it made for a more entertaining game last night than Wednesday. The Kings, on the other hand, they had half their squad playing in the States against Vegas, the other half up here. So none of the big names, a lot of the bigger names didn't come up. So guys like Doughty, Kopitar, Brown, Kovalchuk stayed in the States. But we did get to see guys like Kempe and Pearson, among others. And so it was still a decent game. And one cool thing, a coach that came up with the team was my first cousin Dusty. 1998 Nagano Winter Olympic Games. Dusty, he was the starting goalie for Japan back in the Olympics. I think I've talked about that before. But what's cool is he's the LA Kings goaltending development coach. So he works with Bill Ranford with all the LA Kings goalies that they're in the system. And Dusty in particular worries about their Ontario Reign team. So he works with guys like Jack Campbell and Peter Budaj, who are the 2 guys who played last night. So Dusty was in town with the team from LA, of course. He lives here on the off season. He's from here. And so we were trading messages right before the game, kind of saying good luck, hope it goes well. And I said, hope you don't mind when the Canucks guys light your goalies up, haha. And then I basically said, here's a scouting report for you. Brock Besser has a good shot. Obviously, I was being very sarcastic. Everyone knows that. And then he just as sarcastically wrote back, yeah, thanks a lot, bud. So that was a lot of fun. It was cool to see Dusty, or I didn't get to see him, but it was cool that he was up here with his guys. And it's cool that Vancouver ended up winning, of course, scoring 1 on Campbell in the first and 2 on Budaj in the third, and then a couple more in the shootout. So the other thing, before I talk about the game itself, is thank you for your input on the jersey. I actually put a Twitter poll up, and I got over 600 votes. By far the most number of votes I've ever gotten on a Twitter poll. Which jersey should I get? Final results were 52% Besser, 48% Pettersson. So very, very close. 4% over 600 votes. That's only 24 vote difference. So I ended up getting the Brock Besser jersey, and my son Sean, he got a Bo Horvat jersey. Now I'm broke because I work for the church, but that's okay. It was worth getting. And I'm sure I'll get a Pettersson one down the road, just probably wait 1 or 2 years. And I'll talk about Pettersson in a second. So, guys that impressed me last night, the 2 new guys, Beagle and Schaller. Both of them, good energy, good fitness. You can see they're tough to play against. Now I can see why, you can argue about the contract or the term, especially for Beagles, the 4-year. Let me just take a sip. I got something in my throat. I know I'm not working for Subway. Yeah, excuse me. Both guys did really well, especially Schaller in the first period. I found that he was doing a lot of good things around the net and always making things happen. And both guys play tough. They play gritty. And yeah, like I said, I think they're going to be great additions. And Beagle in particular, you saw in the overtime how he basically killed off the whole penalty himself as the only forward on that 3-man unit, along with Hutton and Tanev. So Beagle and Schaller, looking forward to seeing more of what they do. It's good to see Brock Besser obviously play, got his jersey. He was kind of, not as noticeable, a little bit on the power play, which I'll talk about, but his first game back, really playing competitive hockey. I don't count the Beauty League, although that was a lot of fun in the summer. I don't know why I do that when I say it. The Beauty League. But yes, it was okay. It was great to see Besser play. He was just kind of average last night, which is fine. It's his first game back. Other guys that stood out to me, Horvat, Pettersson, and Barchi, who I'll talk about in a second. Also, Archibald and Virtanen, playing on the third line with Beagle. A lot of hits. Archibald at 7, Virtanen at 6. They didn't do much offensively, but they're not supposed to, I think, playing on a line like that. So it was nice to see them put some Kings on their butt on the ice. And then one other guy who played very well was Ben Hutton. He had over 30 minutes of ice time. He too was on that penalty kill in overtime, played almost the whole thing. He had a big block. And I thought he played very well. He had a really rough game against Edmonton in the first preseason game, and I thought he made amends last night. So I see him slotting as a 6th defenseman, the third pairing left side defenseman when all is said and done, beating out Pouliot and Biega and Juolevi for that spot. So good for Hutton. I'm happy to see him. He carried the puck well. His passing on the power play wasn't so great, and that's a perfect segue actually to that power play. What I was most excited about, aside from being in the arena for the first time since April for a Canucks game, was seeing this vaunted power play for the first time. So what we had is, as expected, Boeser on the left side, Pettersson on the right, Horvat down low, and then we have Barchi playing the bumper spot in the middle of the diamond, and we had Ben Hutton up top. So again, Boeser, Horvat, Pettersson, Barchi, and Hutton. And I think if Hutton's not there, it's going to be Edler. So it's going to be one of the two. Either it's going to be Edler or Hutton. One thing about Hutton is he's not the best passer, and there was one shift in particular actually where he tried to set up Boeser for a one-timer, but put it to Boeser's left skate, so too far away from him, and then Boeser passed it back to Hutton. Hutton tried to set up Pettersson for a one-timer, and he put it too far in front of him, so Pettersson, as a lefty, had trouble getting to it. So in a span of 10 seconds, we saw Hutton make actually 2 poor passes. Yeah, it was one shift. It wasn't the best, and we were all clamoring to see those one-timers unleashed from either side. But as the game went on, Hutton certainly settled down, and he was making good plays. He was keeping the puck in and making safe passes or safe directions at the net. And the 2 Canucks goals, the power play goals, they both started from the right side, and that would be Pettersson on the half wall, Horvat in front of the net, and Barchi playing the bumper. The first goal was beautiful, and we talk about Pettersson having dekes for days, and I know on Tuesday night he deked Ryan Strome out of his jockstrap, and Strome, I think, is still sliding towards the other side of the rink. I think I used that joke on yesterday already. But last night he wasn't wasn't as noticeable from a deking standpoint, but I was really impressed by Pettersson's poise. For a 19-year-old, and he has a lot of poise, and the Kings were trying to rough him up. I really noticed, and I tweeted about this throughout the first 2 periods especially, anytime the Kings had a chance to, they would put Pettersson in the boards or on the ice, off a face-off, cross-check him down to the ice. And I was a little bit worried that, because anytime I heard a big boom, I saw that it was Pettersson that was getting hit. But to his credit, he stood in there. And I think this is it's actually a good test that in the second game only for the Canucks that he played against a big tough team like the Kings, and he even said so after the match, after the game in his interview that they're a tough team to play against. So good on Pettersson. The first goal, we've seen the highlights, beautiful as Muzzin's about to hit him from behind. Pettersson takes a quick look, puts the puck between his legs, blind pass backwards to Barchi. And then Barchi then does his own backhand blind pass, not through his own legs, but still nice, and then to Horvat in front of the net. So that was a beautiful goal, and set up by Pettersson's hockey IQ and his poise. And poise is the word I'm going to use, I think, because alliteration with Pettersson. Pettersson has poise, or the poise of Pettersson. That's what I'm going to call this video, I think. Then on the other power play goal, same thing. Start on the right side. Hutton, a quick pass to Pettersson. Then Pettersson, a very quick pass to Boeser, and that's the one thing Pettersson does. As soon as he gets the puck on his stick, he's so shifty, he's so nifty, those words rhyme, and he got the puck to Horvat really quickly, and then Horvat found Barchi in front of the net. So those 3 guys combined for both goals, power play goals. Pettersson, Horvat, and Barchi. Pettersson's second assist, and Horvat and Barchi with the first assist and the goal respectively, and they swapped, of course. They also got 2 points. And Hutton was in starting both of those, actually at least the second goal for sure, started off with the pass to Pettersson. Boeser, so all that happened on the right side, if that makes sense. The goalie's left the right side. Boeser plays the left side. He's not as good as a passer yet. Maybe he doesn't have the same stick handling. So we'll look for him to make some wrist shots and snap shots and slap shots, one-timers, a lot of shooting from the left, and maybe it looks like, especially if Horvat sets up on the goalie's left on the right side or in front of the net, I think a lot of the power play offense is going to run through the right side, more of the puck control on the right side because Pettersson's there, and then you have Boeser winding up for the one-timer on the left. Like I said, last night it was Hutton manning the point. We'll see if it's Edler when the season starts, but regardless, I think I wouldn't call Hutton or Edler a superstar when it comes to power play, but at least they'll be solid enough, and they're smart enough to get the puck to where they need to get it to, and they're good at holding the line. So that was very cool. A couple more things. Horvat, just make the guy a captain already. He was so good last night. The one thing I love about Horvat, he's not afraid to hit guys. He's not afraid to get hit. So once in a while you'll see Horvat on the ice too, because he makes a lot of things happen. He plays on the edge a little bit, in control, but he's still a lot of excitement. He tried his famous outside in move a couple times last night, and then he got 2 points obviously, and then the goal in the shootout. And so Horvat had a very strong game. He's leading on the ice, playing very, very well. And then when it came to the shootout was kind of funny because we have a pretty good lineup when you think about it. If we get to the shootout, you can line up try out Besser, then Pettersson, then Horvat, then there's Goodobin, and then you can have guys like Barchi and Leipzig still. So we only had to go through 4 guys, and then actually the 2 guys that I thought would score, Besser and Pettersson, did not. And when you're at the game, I was sitting behind the goalie because I moved down for the third period. You couldn't really see where the shot went, so it looked like they weren't really good efforts actually. But then when I watched the replay, I saw what they're trying to do. Besser was trying to go find that gap right under the goalie's arm, and then Pettersson was trying to go 5-hole with quick shots. But credit to Budaj, maybe it's my cousin Dusty's coaching, but Budaj played those 2 well. Then out comes Horvat, and Horvat's just playing with so much confidence. His release is so good, his hands are so good. Always improving, and he snapped a shot past Budaj for the third goal, for their first goal in the shootout. He was a shooter number 3, and then Goodobin comes over the bench. Didn't really do much during the game actually, so it was nice that he got a chance to score, and he sealed it with his shot as well. So all in all, a very entertaining game. I was most happy to see that power play for the first time in person, and I was happy to see the poise of Elias Pettersson. I can't wait. This guy's exciting. Yes, I didn't buy his jersey, but that'll come. But to see him live and to see the way he's playing with Horvat, and likely, who on the power play, I should say, when the season starts, there's so much chemistry between Horvat and Barchi. I see Horvat, Besser, and Barchi staying as the first line. Second line, it will be very fascinating to see who ends up playing with Elias Pettersson as his wingers, but we can worry about that later. Pettersson does got to work on his face-offs. He admitted that after the game. He went 2 for 11, so that's not the best percentage, but hey, a lot of time to do that. He can practice that. All right, thanks for letting me ramble. I'm excited. It was good. I'm going to the home opener, so I won't see the Canucks play live again until October 20, a month from now, when they host the Boston Bruins. But I'll be doing these commentaries on the games, of course, just by watching them on TV or catching up on the stats, whatever it may be. Canucks fans, leave a comment below about anything, about last night's game, maybe about the poise of Pettersson. Do you agree with despite me talking about him for the last few minutes, my jersey choice of Besser, and anything that you noticed from last night's game? Maybe it's a comment about Schaller or Beagle, or how well Horvat's playing. Did you find Goodobin too invisible last night? How about Dahlin? I didn't even mention his name because you barely noticed him. You had guys like Archibald and Beagle and Virtanen playing well in third lines. Whatever it may be, maybe it's Ben Hutton's play. Leave a comment below how you're feeling about the team right now. And yeah, like I said, I love to read it. I always try my best to reply to it once I react to it. So I'll read, react, and reply. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Give this video a like if you like what I'm doing on this channel. Have a great day. It's Friday. Heading in the weekend. Be safe. Have fun. God bless. And go Canucks go.